Good morning and welcome to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. I am located at 1563 Main Street in Peckville, Pennsylvania, and I'm with you right here on this station every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. to bring you, the Pennsylvania landowner, the information that you need regarding natural gas development. At the Clark Law Firm, my focus is on landowner, oil and gas right owner, legal representation. Here it comes. I have not. I do not. And of course, as long as I'm alive, I will not represent gas or pipeline companies. I never have, and I never will. I am a semi-farm kid, steelworker kid from Armstrong County, and I will represent Pennsylvania landowners and gas right owners and not companies. So I represent landowners for many items, any and all things related to oil and gas right issues and developments, including, but not limited to, gas lease negotiations, pipeline, water line negotiations, royalty issues, unitization issues, claims against companies, breach of contracts, breaching your gas lease, breaching your oil or your pipeline agreement, any agreement, buying and selling gas rights, surface use agreements, any contract related to natural gas development in any fashion. Give us a call. That's what we do. 570-307-0702. And again, you call the office, find out what we do, find out what I do, because I will be, if we represent you, I will be the lawyer who represents you, not an associate, not anyone else. It will be me, and I will represent you. So learn about what we do. Give us a call, 570-307-0702. I want to hear from you. I really want to help you. We want to help everybody we can, and that's part of getting this show out there. We want you to have this information. The playing field is so heavily slanted towards the company. The information, the assistance, the education, it's all slanted that direction. Just imagine that scene in the Titanic when the boat starts going down and everyone starts flying from one side of the ship into the ocean. That's the kind of playing field we're dealing with. You as landowners are hanging on to the rails, and we need to get this ship balanced. We need to get this playing field balanced. And what's happening is companies, in my opinion, are taking advantage of uninformed landowners. It is not that the landowners are not intelligent and have the ability to make good decisions by any means. No, it is the fact that landowners, are not getting the information that they need. And unfortunately, landowners are too often and relying too much on what the gas company representatives tell them. How you think about it, how do you rely on what the opposition, your adversary, is telling you? Not your partner. That word, we need to we need to stop that word from coming into your mind and you buying into it. You are not partners with the individual or with the company seeking to negotiate a contract with you. When you go into the car dealership, are you a partner with the company selling you the car dealership? Are you a partner with the salesman? No. You're there in an effort to get the best deal you can, pay the least amount of money for the vehicle that you want. What is the car dealership trying to do? What is the salesman trying to do? They're trying to sell you a vehicle with the greatest possible profit margin. They're trying to make the highest commission as a salesperson. That's the process. That's okay. That's the process. But we must understand, identify the process, and work within the process. Now, once you sign contracts and once the gas company starts producing gas and all the contracts are all done and there's no other contracts to sign, now there may be other ones in the future, but once things are rolling, R-O-L-L-I-N-G, sorry, getting a little fired up there. Once things are rolling along, then yeah, you want to call it a partnership where you're rooting for the company to produce as much gas as possible to obtain the highest price possible. Yeah, okay, we can call that. I wouldn't use the word partnership, but you can argue that. That's okay. But you sure as heck aren't in a partnership when you're sitting at the table and the landman is trying to get you to sign an agreement. That's not a partnership. That's not. That is an adversarial relationship where two sides are in negotiations, each seeking to get the best agreement for their side. That is this process. There is no way around it. And that person sitting at your table, if that person is telling you, oh, I'm real pro landowner, then again, that person has the wrong job because they are not working for you, the landowner. They're working for their employer or their client, the gas or pipeline company. This is fundamental stuff. So when you're just signing agreements that are being presented to you and you are not getting assistance from someone who knows what they are doing, from someone that is there to help you, that's their job. My job, what I do is I work for my client. I am there to help them. They are my client. I work for them. So my job is to give them the best possible information I can based upon my years of experience doing this day in and day out. And I still learn things. And I'll tell you this, I don't rely on the company landman to educate me. I don't. Now, I'll listen. We take everything in as part of our equation of decision making, but we know that the gas and pipeline company landman works for the gas and pipeline company, not you, the landowner. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm, where I work for landowners. You can call me 570-307-0702 and make sure you tune in every Sunday right here from 8 to 9 a.m. for All Things Marcellus. So if you're a regular listener, you know that sometimes I do tend to get a little bit worked up. Sometimes the shows are very factual. We go through agreements. And sometimes the shows, quite frankly, are a little more emotional. And it looks like, though I didn't necessarily plan this, it looks like today's show may be a little more emotional than just dry going through agreements. So if you like those kind of shows, stay tuned because I'm starting to get a little fired up. And why? I'll tell you why. Because, again, just week in and week out. But, boy, this past week, oh, my heavens. Boy, just one thing after another. The companies, I swear, I'm in this constant discussion with my family doctor of trying to stay off of blood pressure medication. I'm convinced that the gas companies are committed, and pipeline companies, to try to get me on blood pressure medication because they are just time and time again, I'm having these issues where I just can't believe that these issues are arising. And I can't believe that landowners are signing some of these agreements and then coming to me afterwards and we're talking about them or they have issues and we're dealing with this agreement that they signed that they never consulted with an attorney who knew what they were doing, never consulted with anyone and said, well, I talked to the landman and they said blank, 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 da-da-da. And so I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do it. They told me, hey, I'm real pro landowner. This is going to make you a lot of money. We want to make you rich, money, 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 money. I picked up my pen and I signed. We have to stop doing that. You have to stop doing that before you sign, you need to be informed. You need to get information for so many reasons. So many reasons. And I promise you, I mean this statement as much as anything that I ever say. I mean it. If you do not call me, that is okay. I would like for you to call me because I love helping people. I love working for landowners. I love what I do. But if you don't call me, that's okay. But please, and I mean this, please call someone. Call someone also that knows what they are doing. Someone you're confident is going to fight for you. And be careful. Watch calling someone who's going to take a percentage of any money you're going to receive. Be very careful. That may be appropriate in some cases. Maybe. But be careful. But most importantly, do not, in my opinion, and you can go online, look at what Penn State says, look at what these other groups say who are advocating for landowners and fairness. Call someone, get information by someone who's working for you, not the company. It is a travesty that we have people signing these agreements that are not offering them liability protection. You can be sued. You would have to defend yourself in court, hiring a lawyer. If there is a judgment, you could have liability. That is so fundamentally basic. And again, I use the word travesty. I'll use it again, that companies are presenting people agreements that don't even offer them liability protection. They don't even offer liability protection. So if they're not giving you the bare basic bones liability protection, what else aren't you getting? Well, are you going to rely on the company to tell you what you're not getting? Are you going to rely on the company who's not giving you things to tell you what they are not giving you? If you are making a very big mistake. You need to understand what is in every single document. You need to understand it all before you sign it. Then you need to understand what is not in there. You need to understand, how may this document affect me, my children, my grandchildren, or if I want to sell the property in the future, how will this agreement impact me and my family and my property? What don't I have that I should have? And boy, you need to have the answers to those questions. And that's not even getting into the fact that time and time again, landowners are presented. Think about this. Just again, think about this. This is fundamental. It's basic and it's simple. If you are a company and you're going to try to get people to sign contracts, are you going to go out and give the person, the landowner, the gas right owner, as a general rule, are you going to go out and give them your best offer? Are you going to give them your best offer? I would say that as a general rule, no. Sometimes, maybe. General rule, heck no. So what do? You go and you give them an offer and you see, hey, what if they sign? So they come and they offer you $2,000. Guys, there are people who will sign and do sign whatever the company puts in front of them. Then there's the people who make calls, who become more educated and become informed. I cannot tell you, literally hundreds of times, hundreds of times, I have seen initial offers go up by tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars. But people aren't pursuing. They're not getting the education. Now, not every time, but I'll tell you, in the work I do now, probably more than half the time, these offers go up significantly from where they started. And if you're just signing an agreement, you can't go back in time, but please stop just signing agreements. And I'm going to talk more. Why is this happening? Why should we protect ourselves? Well, we'll talk about it more in the next segment. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. You can call me 570-307-0702. That's 570-307-0702 for any and all matters related to oil and gas representation. We have helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, and I really would like to help you. We want to even this playing field and make sure that you're getting the best agreement for you now and in the future, and for you and your family and your property. Again, you're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. I'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. As you know, I hope, join me every Sunday right here on this station from 8 to 9 a.m. where I bring you the information that you need from the landowner's side regarding natural gas development here in Pennsylvania. And before you sign any contract, get a review and consultation, or even when it's presented, at least give us a call, find out what we do, 570-307-0702. 570-307-0702. So, all right, you're sitting back there saying, this guy, he's just trying to get business. This guy's just trying to get business. Look, there's no secrets here. I am an attorney who does oil and gas work for Pennsylvania landowners and Pennsylvania oil and gas right owners. That is my job. That is how I make money. That's how I support my family. I just happen to be very blessed and fortunate that I actually love my job. I love working for, fighting for Pennsylvania landowners like my grandfather Laird Clark, like my uncle Homer Clark, like my grandmother Gladys Clark, like all the other steelworker farmers that I grew up with on the Airport Road, Dime Road, Armstrong County, Pennsylvania, Parks Township. I love it. It is a gift. I never expected this to happen. When I went to law school, I didn't think this is what I would be doing. Not by any means at all. But thankfully, I have somehow evolved to be in this position, a position that I love. And everybody I talk to, my clients, I have all different types of clients: doctors, lawyers, business people, farmers, widows, widowers, every type of person who owns land and gas rights in Pennsylvania. Oh, and by the way, I have represented more than one landman in oil and gas related negotiations and matters. What does he mean by that? He says he doesn't represent gas and pipeline companies. I don't. However, isn't it interesting that a landman gets an oil and gas lease offer, gets a pipeline agreement offer, and calls my office? Landman calls my office. Just this week, I see a call come in from a pipeline company telephone number. When you see in your caller ID, and I say, oh, okay, well, this pipeline company must be calling on a certain matter. Well, lo and behold, it wasn't that. It was a potential new client where within apparently, now again, this is what I'm told, that inside they say, hey, I have this issue. What do I do? And even within the company, somebody recommends to this person, call this Doug Clark guy. Call this Doug Clark guy. Now, again, I know if you're just listening, hopefully you listen a lot. I don't want you to listen and you say, oh, God, this guy's some kind of egomaniac. Oh, my God, who is this guy? That's not it. It's not what it's about. The point is that people in the industry recognize that they should be getting assistance to help them. People in the industry have called me and I have represented for their personal property, not as a pipeline person or as a gas lease or as a gas company person, but no, as a landowner who has an oil and gas related issue. Now, these aren't people that I have negotiated with or anything like that. They are individuals who work as landmen. I have one person in Texas. I talked to this landman in Texas and said, look, let me just tell you, the first thing I did was find out, because they had rights in Pennsylvania, who's oil and gas attorneys in Pennsylvania working for the landowner. And why are they doing that? Because they know the industry. So the point is, if gas company people are hiring lawyers to represent them and pipeline company people in matters of their own affairs, do you think maybe you should too? Do you think maybe you should too? And whether you call me or call someone else, call someone to protect yourself, because people on the other side are doing the same thing. Why shouldn't you? They have lawyers. They have people drafting contracts. They have people fighting to get the best agreements for them. You should too. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. Remember to join me right here, Sundays, 8 to 9 a.m. Also, if you can't join every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m., you're probably saying, oh boy, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Well, here's what you can do. Go check out the websites. We take today's show and we will post it, and it will be available on Monday morning. You can go to pagasleaseattorney.com, pipelineattorney.com, pagasleaseattorney.com, pipelineattorney.com. Today's show will be up and available, and there are many, many, many hours of shows available on the website. And by the way, cruise around the website. Check it out. There is a lot of very good information, whether you're looking for representation or information, education. Check out pagasleaseattorney.com, pipelineattorney.com. Give us a call, 570-307-0702. So, okay, you're listening to the show. You're saying, boy, this guy's getting awfully commercial today. And, you know, I try not to go too commercial, but sometimes we need to. Sometimes we need to, because I don't want people discouraged and think, oh, man, I don't know. I don't want to call. I've never had a lawyer before. Oh, the landman told me. Why would you need a lawyer? Why would you need a lawyer? Listen, call. Find out what we do. Check out the websites. pagasleaseattorney.com. That's pagasleaseattorney.com. pipelineattorney.com. Check out the prior radio shows. Look at the landowner testimonials. Learn what we do. We've helped a lot of people, and I think we can help you if you have any type of oil and gas related issue. And this is the other thing. I'm going to tell you, if I can't help you, I am going to tell you I can't help you. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do. Or it doesn't make sense financially for you to go and hire me, whatever the case may be. I am going to be honest and forthright all the time. You know, that's all you have. That's your job. I mean, how could you not be? You know, I don't understand any other mentality. So we want to help you. I want to help you. Why do you need help? Because the companies are out for their own interest. That's okay. That is what they are supposed to do. That is what they are supposed to do. I'm not upset about that. I'm not upset about that. What gets me upset is that times when I think and I see in my opinion, I know that companies are taking advantage of uninformed landowners, and they're taking advantage of people all the time. And look, that's my opinion, but you don't have to take my opinion. Go online, read the stories. I can tell you war story after war story of and one of my favorites, guy, had he called me before he signed a document, his payment would have probably been in excess of $5 million, but he just signed a document and got $0. Call before you sign. It doesn't mean that you're going to get $5 million versus zero, but what it means is you're going to find out what is your negotiation leverage, what is your rights, what can be done here, how do you maximize this agreement. I talk about opportunities. You should see documents as opportunities. Now, Maybe it turns out, okay, this is some run-of-the-mill thing. You don't need much representation or any. And then that's what you're told. Or maybe, whoa, put the pen down, because this is quite the opportunity. You have a lot of negotiation leverage, and you should use it, because the companies will use theirs. It's okay. That's the system. Your job is to get the best agreement you can for you. That's your job. The company's job, get the best agreement they can for them. That's the playing field. Those are the rules. Those are fine. We need to play within the rules, but we need to make sure we're getting you the best possible agreement. And if the company is not paying you properly, if the company is breaching your agreement, if the company is cheating, not doing what they should be doing, then we need to correct that. So we have to make sure we're getting the representation and the information that we need, because the companies, it's not their job to provide it to you. They have a duty to maximize company profits. The board of directors, the officers, that is their duty, to maximize company profits. Not to maximize your profit, no, to maximize their profits. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. Join me right here every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. Call the office, learn what we do, see what we can do to help you, reviews and consultations, learn about that service. 570-307-0702. 570-307-0702. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. I'm going to be right back after this break. Welcome back to All Things Marcellus with me, attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm, where you can join me, and I hope you do, every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. right here in this station. And remember, give me a call if you are presented with an agreement, if you are considering an agreement, before you sign the agreement, or any breach, any issue related to oil and gas development. Don't go through this alone. We need to get you the help. Help hundreds and hundreds of people. We think we can help you. Learn, call us, find out. Hey, and if we're not right, we're not right. But call and get the information. 570-307-0702. Don't be afraid to call and get the information. We want you, the Pennsylvania landowner, oil and gas right owner, to be informed. Call the Clark Law Firm today. I want to remind everybody again, too, if you can't join us each week, you can go to the websites. And I know I talk to people all the time, and they talk and they listen to the show, and we're very pleased, and thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. But we also, what happens is I talk to people and they say, well, I can't tune in all the time, or I hear it when I'm driving. You can go to our websites. Go to if you have not gone to the websites, look, go for information, whether you need representation or not. But really, the websites, I'm a little biased, but these websites have good quality educational information for you, the landowner. They have prior radio shows available on the website, hours and hours. And this week's show will be up on Monday on the websites. Where are the websites? pagasleaseattorney.com. That's pagasleaseattorney.com. pipelineattorney.com. Think about it. pipelineattorney.com. Go to pipelineattorney.com and learn about pipelines. Learn about pipeline right-of-way agreements. If you're presented with a pipeline right-of-way agreement and you're not going to pipelineattorney.com and you're not going to other quality places online to get information, you are doing yourself a major disservice. And if you say, hey, I don't care about myself, you're doing your family a major disservice. You really are. We need to get you this information, and I keep saying it. I want to hear from you. I want to represent people. I love what I do. Call me, 570-307-0702. Know that you're calling somebody who's doing nothing but working for landowners and gas right owners, not companies. That's what we do. But if you don't call me, call someone who is going to fight for you, who's going to educate you, and who's going to work for you. We have clients all across Pennsylvania: Greene County, Washington County, Armstrong County, Westmoreland County, Allegheny County, Butler County, Potter, Lycoming, Wyoming, Susquehanna, Bradford. Oh boy, we keep going on and on and on. McKean, I can go on, but I forgot where I started. But the point is, all across Pennsylvania, any producing gas area, any area to be developed, give us a call. Don't be afraid of that distance. Learn what we do. We do phone calls all the time, conference calls. We conference in multiple people, owners of property. Learn what we do. And like I say, if it's not right for you, it's not right for you, but learn what we do. I get nervous because I think people are discouraged, or they're just any hesitation to call. Don't hesitate. Just pick up the phone, give us a call, and hey, worst thing that happens is you say, yeah, you know what? I don't know if this is the right law firm for me. Best thing that happens is you find a law firm that you feel confident in is going to work for you, who would be me, who's going to represent your interest, and who's going to work for you to get you the best possible contract, negotiate the best possible money terms and compensation terms. And I see it all the time. Look, we help people all the time. Go to the websites, look at the testimonials. We're confident we can help you. All right, let's get back to the subject. Now, here he is saying companies are out for themselves. Companies are out for themselves. Seems pretty basic. But the problem is that landowners still are falling for these promises of future riches. It's like, here, look at these dollar symbols while I hand you the pen and the paperwork for you to sign. Dollars, dollars, dollars over here. Oh, here, by the way, sign this paper. No. We are going to take steps back, and we're going to educate ourselves and inform ourselves. This is, in my opinion, I see it all the time, cutthroat. And later on, if you have a problem, that person was sitting at your kitchen table, they're probably in another kitchen table in another area, a good chance representing another different oil or gas or pipeline company, saying the same type of things that they were saying to you then. I talked to landmen, to these guys. They say, oh yeah, this company I'm working for now is the best company. This other company that I was working for, and they'll name the company, oh, they run right over the landowner. They're a really bad company. Well, then why were you working for them? And when you were working for them, did you tell the landowner at the kitchen table, hey, listen, guys, I'm a real pro landowner. You shouldn't sign this lease. You shouldn't sign this pipeline agreement. You shouldn't sign this roadway or surface use agreement because you know why? This company's a bad company. They really run over people, and you're going to find that the grass is not going to be so green after you sign this document. So I wouldn't sign this if I were you. No, they don't say that. But then when they're sitting at the table talking about a different company, telling that landowner how great this new company is and that they've worked for some other companies and this is the best company. I wonder, when they work for the next company, are they going to that next landowner and saying the same thing? I talked to an attorney in the last couple of weeks who's telling me on the phone, and I talked to him as an attorney working for a different company. And he's talking to me on the phone about another company or who he's working with now, saying how great this company is and how the other company was so bad. Well, why did you work for years for the other company? It's the same thing with anyone. Just don't even say it then. Don't say it. Don't say it. Or go ahead and keep saying it, but say it to an informed set of ears, to a landowner who's listening, who knows that and says, hey, it's okay. Your job is to represent your client, which is the gas and pipeline company. So that's okay. I will listen to what you say. I will take your documents and I will talk to somebody who's working for me, who has enhanced knowledge experience in dealing with these issues and who has seen problems that arise and understands how we seek to address potential future issues and problems in the contracts we're signing now, and who's going to work, who's going to give me the information I need, who's going to assess the leverage that I have to negotiate for as much money as I can receive, because that's a big part of it. But then also for the best language to be added to the agreement. If you are signing documents that are being presented to you and they're coming to your kitchen table or they're coming in the mail, my heavens, they're coming in the mail, they're coming in the kitchen table, they're coming with the landman, and you're just signing those, and you're not getting any help, you're not getting any reviews and consultations, I'm going to tell you, in my 100% strongest opinion, you are making an enormous mistake. And again, if you don't call me, you say, well, that's very self-serving from an attorney who wants you to call him. Well, yeah, I do. I want you to call me because this is what I do. I want you to call me because I want to help you. I want you to call me because, yes, this is my business. But it all aligns in a very positive way because I'm a person who's going to bust my butt for you to make sure that you're getting the best agreement you can. So call and learn about it. I know this show is a bit commercial, but just these past few weeks, I just keep getting these agreements and I'm seeing what people are signing, and it's driving me crazy because I know in many of these cases that there are much better agreements that could have been signed, that if you just had some assistance. And companies are preying on the lack of it, P-R-E-Y, like vultures on the lack of information. We got to stop that. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark. So, okay, again, here he is. Oh, these companies are out for themselves. They're out for themselves. Why do I say that? Why do I say that? Well, look, there's a thing called a fiduciary duty. Fiduciary duty. And a lot of people are probably familiar with that term. Maybe some people are not. That's okay. But what is that all about? What is he talking about? Well, you have a company, you have a board of directors, you have officers, and you have the individuals who work for the company. So there is a thing called a fiduciary relationship, and that's like this heightened or fiduciary duties. There are these higher level of duties that people have in certain positions. So let's take a board of director for a company, oil and gas company or any company. But the board of directors and the officers of any company, they have direct control over the corporation, and they owe a fiduciary duty to the owners of the corporation. Well, who are the owners? The owners are the shareholders. The shareholders. So, what do we have? You have directors of corporations owe duties of care. They have loyalty to the shareholders. That is a requirement. That is a duty. They have a fiduciary duty to the shareholders of that corporation. The duty of care that they have requires that the directors on the board of directors, exercise good business judgment when making decisions on behalf of that company. Directors have a standard of care that they have to follow. This fiduciary standard. They have to do what they believe is in good faith to be in the best interest of that company or corporation. And remember, who owns the corporation? The shareholders. You're not, well, maybe you're a shareholder, but you're a landowner first. You're a gas right owner first. So that company's policy, by obligation, not even by choice, but by obligation, is to operate in the best interests of shareholders, their shareholders, maximizing the profit for their shareholders. Simple question. If you are a company, do you maximize profit for your shareholders by offering the highest offer that you can agree to the first time you present a contract to a landowner? Or if you're going to operate in the best interest of your shareholders and you're going to try to make as much money as you can because you are obligated, not a choice, obligation. You're obligated to work for the shareholders. So, would you not be obligated then to present contracts that are most favorable to you and attempt to minimize the amount of money you're going to pay a landowner, a gas right owner, to minimize the royalty percentage that you're going to give to the landowner and the gas right owner, to minimize to maximize the way you're going to make profits on how royalties are calculated, meaning you want to take deductions and charge them to the landowner, to the gas right owner, and not you, the company. In sum, you want to make as much money as you can. So if I wanted to make as much money as I could, and I was a company board of director officer, I would direct my employees and my agents to go out and to try to obtain the agreements that are most favorable to my company, to us. So if I know that I'm willing to pay these landowners 18% royalty, well, am I going to lead with that? No, I'm going to lead with 12.5%. Or maybe I think, well, if I go that low, I may not have people sign, so I'll try 15%. But I'm not going to lead with my best offer. And if I can do a pipeline agreement and I can pay people $7, $10, maybe $15 a foot, well, I'm going to submit the lowest number that people will take because that's going to maximize my profit. And then what am I going to do? I'm going to say, oh, well, that's what we pay, and that's what Mr. Jones signed for down the road, and gas prices are real low. Yeah, I am going to do everything that I can reasonably do in good faith to maximize the benefit to my shareholders, which means entering into better contracts for me, the company, and not better contracts for you, the land owner, the gas right owner. That's my obligation. There's no way around it. That is my obligation. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. You can join me, and I hope you do, every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. right here in WNBT. Give us a call. Learn what we do. We want to help you. 570-307-0702. I'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. And, I want to say, normally the shows, I don't think, and I hope I'm correct when I say this, aren't necessarily as commercial as the show today. But like I say, things happen during the weeks that get me fired up. And it pains me to see landowners out there just signing agreements, not doing their research, not doing their due diligence, not going out, reaching out, learning from our office what a review and consultation is, to find out what we can do. They usually take 1 to 2 hours. They have been an outstanding service for the landowner, for the gas right owner, and it's really, really helped people to learn their rights, and in many cases, increase compensation by tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars. That is not an exaggeration. It is not an exaggeration. You owe it to yourself when you're engaging in these very serious industrial contracts, which will last for decades, many, many decades, to make sure that you are not selling yourself short, to make sure that you're getting as much money as you can, to make sure that you're protecting yourself from liability in the future, to make sure that you are limiting the authority that you are granting the company whenever they operate on your property, to make sure these contracts. Just recently had an offer for a client. I think they were offered $500 up front. It was about $40,000 in the back end for a right-of-way agreement. and they're going to sign for, I believe it's going to be about $10,000, a little bit more up front, and the back end is going to be over $100,000. And some people are just signing those agreements. So this person is going to obtain about 20 times more the initial signing payment. They're going to receive, if the option is exercised, and it's believed strongly that it will be, they're going to receive more than double the compensation they were offered. These aren't, it doesn't happen every time, but it happens a lot. It happens to various degrees. And what is happening is people are just signing these agreements that are being presented by the company. The worst thing that can happen, if you have a review and consultation, the worst thing that can happen is that you understand your document and you paid for typically 1 to 2 hours of legal service time, and you understand your document and we're not able to get more money and we're not able to negotiate better terms. That's the worst thing that can happen, and you're fully informed. And I am going to tell you that in my experience, that worst result is not anywhere near the most common result. In many, many cases, and I don't like to throw out promises, but in many cases, many cases, we are able to increase the money in the bonus. We're able to increase the money in the upfront payment, in the back end payment for how many different pipelines and pipeline agreements. Normally, I would say, again, many cases, many times, we're able to increase the money. And in many cases, that increase is substantial in many cases. Then, if you aren't able to increase the money, which many times we can, but if you aren't, then we're going to talk about the language in the agreement. And again, the worst thing that can happen is you now understand the agreement, what you need to know, how it's going to operate, how it may impact you, what is the good, what is the bad, do you have the ability to negotiate, and if not, why not? If so, how strong is your leverage, how aggressive do you want to be? All of those things will be discussed and made known to you during a review and consultation. And then if it's determined, which is, in my experience, actually, I'll say this, very rare that we cannot change the language being offered to make the agreement better for you. Rarely, and I mean rarely, can we not improve the contract that you're being offered. And again, in many cases, we can significantly improve the language and the terms that you're being offered. And in many cases, we increase compensation. In many cases, we increase compensation significantly. And what is happening is people are having meetings. They're being presented with documents, and they're just signing them. And when you do that, you've now given up. Not only do you probably, and almost guaranteed, don't know what you need to know because you're not being told what you need to know, but you're also probably signing a document that could be improved and improved significantly. Don't be in that group that is literally dropped off tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and I am not exaggerating, in cases, millions of dollars, even up front or in the back end with royalties and deductions. Don't be in that group because you didn't call me or someone else who knows what they're doing. I am Attorney Doug Clark. You are listening to All Things Marcellus. You can join me right here on this station each week at this time, and you can call us. Learn about the review and consultation service. Get informed by somebody working for you. 570-307-0702. Go to the websites. If you don't You listen, you say, well, this is an attorney trying to advertise for an attorney. Go to the websites, read the testimonials. Again, call the office, learn, see if it is right for you. Go to pagasleaseattorney.com. Go to pipelineattorney.com. I have a lot of faith in what we do for people, and I have a lot of faith that I can help you. And again, these reviews and consultations, generally speaking, the worst thing that can happen is you're now fully informed of what you need to know. You've spent an hour or two of time and legal fees, and that's the worst that can happen. The best that can happen is maybe you now understand that you can say no, and you say, no, thank you, I'm not interested in that agreement. Or you say, wow, I didn't know I had these rights. Wow, I didn't know other people were signing for 2 and 3 and 4 times the amount of money that I am. I didn't know those things. Wow, I didn't know I could negotiate this or that. So then maybe we negotiate, you negotiate, however it goes from there, to obtain significantly more money, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars more than what is being offered, and much better language, protecting yourself, protecting your property, protecting your future, your children's future, your grandchildren's future. You need that information. And again, this is a bit more commercial than normal, but I'm seeing people continue to sign these documents. And thankfully, though, I'm having clients who call with the documents that they're presented for a review and consultation. And I just put my head in my hands and I say, my heavens, this company is offering a landowner an agreement that is going to result in more tax consequences for clean and green, tax consequences than what they're going to be paid. That's crazy. Or the landowner's not being covered for liability issues and they need that coverage. There is just simply basic things that are not being included in these initial offers. And these initial offers and I don't like to put percentages, but I'll say many, many times can be improved. And in many, many times, in many cases, significantly, drastically, substantially. Offers of $500 option payments go to, just giving that example, $10,000 option payments. Offers of $40,000 up to $100,000, $110,000. I had an option payment the other day of $90,000 roughly. At the end, that option payment was around $190,000. That's $100,000 more dollars in a check that was written to a landowner, handed to them in my office in a matter of about 1 week. I think it was 8 days. It might have been 7. 1 week. The difference in the payment was $100,000. And if they didn't call and they just signed the paperwork, when they signed the paperwork, they would have received $100,000 less. And I know that people are just signing the paperwork. Again, it's not every single case, but man, it is more than you think. You owe it to yourself to get the information. And I promise you, if I don't think it'll improve, I promise you I will tell you that. That's my job. That's your attorney's job. So please, let's stop signing bad agreements, and let's always remember that the gas and pipeline company landman works for the gas and pipeline company, not you, the landowner. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark. Join me next week at this time on this station. Have a great, great week, everyone.